So can you see my screen there?
Yes, we can.
All right, so get started. So yeah, just thanks for meeting with us today. So our last milestone of the semester is a closing presentation of our work over the semester.
Hey,
yeah.
Sorry. I don't think if you're trying to do presentation mode, it's not in presentation mode.
I think I need to do something else. Okay, so I think that should work now. Does that work?
Yeah, looks good.
Okay, so yeah, so just I just want to start out by just thanking everyone for offering their time and efforts to us this semester. I think we've all gained a lot from the experience, and we all look forward to continuing to work on this project next semester and continue to learn. So just as an introduction, so my name's Scott Walters. I'm the project lead for the geoanalytics team, and our team is composed of WSU Capstone, Peng Chen, Molly Morris, and Sean Roberts. We're all rising seniors, going to be graduating next May, and that's us. So kind of to start out, just doing a brief outline of the presentation. So we want to review the milestones that we created over the semester, and these milestones, they were a series of writing assignments. We shared them in the Teams channel, so they should be there to review. Please let us know if you're having difficulty finding them. But each of them outlines the process for completing components of the project, or parts about it. So see, we have a testing component, and then requirements, things like that. So looking back over the semester, these have been great help to us for understanding the project and creating a framework for how to complete the project. And in the next semester, we will be revisiting these milestones as assignments in the class, and revising them as we add more to the project and get a better understanding and complete these components. So along with this, we want to finish out by just showing what we've done with exploring VOTT, and kind of elaborate on some of the work we've done. And so to start out, the very first milestone we did was a project description. Out of the first few meetings that we had with the Microsoft team, we were able to get some clarity and perspective on the project, and this is the document that took that information and formalized it. Our understanding is that this project comes out of a need to create data generation tools for solving issues in agriculture. So we're talking about issues, we mean issues pertaining to water scarcity and management, sustainability development, even things like recognizing issues with forest fires over these large areas, and then issues pertaining to the food infrastructure for a growing world population. And we were introduced to the FarmBeats application program as kind of a representative tool for addressing these issues. So by creating these data analytic tools out of this information and data pipeline, we're better able to attack these problems. And these issues are coupled by the fact that in agriculture, it's a rural problem space, so there aren't that many ways to generate cost-effective data generation tools, or just to really tackle these problems. So where our project comes into play is recognizing that satellite imagery is an image format that has potential to generate kind of this data flow. So our project is centered on creating a tool with these satellite imageries to do data analysis and get data for the agricultural areas. And after this project description, we moved on to the requirements and specifications document, which outlines the functional and non-functional requirements of our project. And these we're essentially creating annotation and labeling on these satellite images. The tool should be able to manually annotate these images, but a goal of the project is to have some kind of automation for the tagging. And if there's automation, then there needs to be some kind of correction mechanism for the automated tagging, so that the AI or machine learning program that does the automation can, learn better ways to do the automated tagging, and also just to correctly label the images. And then, just as a typical functional requirement of a UI dealing with images, we need to be able to zoom and pan the images. A typo there, but we have this concept of maybe perhaps storing the images. Since we're going to be doing some kind of automated machine learning algorithm, we need a training set to create the model. So there may be some need to create a store of images in a database. And then there also needs to be a way to export the data in a useful way, so that our example of doing the automated tagging, but if there's someone else who has a way of taking this data from the tagged images, we need to be able to export the tagged images in a way that they can use those images in a machine learning way to attack the problems that we talked about in our project description. And then we got some feedback on this document, thanks to Peter, just recognizing that the viewing of the multiple channels is a functional requirement, not a non-functional one, and that, being at the end of the semester, that makes a lot of sense. So with these satellite images, there's multiple channels of image viewing that have different information. So the tool that we'd be creating would need to be able to view those as well. And then just as an aside, we should make it clear that the tool should be intuitive, efficient, and easy, because we want this to be part of an open source tool set for the problem space, and anybody should be able to use it, not just data scientists, but farmers who want to better understand or create a history of images in their area. And so the next document was outlining the solution approach. So taking the project description and requirements and asking, how are you going to do this? And thankfully, we have the use of the visual object tagging tool, VOTT. And this is an application that Microsoft's created, which allows you to label assets, image assets, and video assets. And it has kind of all the functionality for the data tool that we want to create, except it doesn't currently allow for the importing of geotiffs. So our solution approach is essentially the initial components of the solution approach would be to be able to import the geotiffs into VOTT, and then do the zooming and panning so that the UI can be fully functional, and then finally having verifying that the tagging system works, and that it follows the way to export the information in a concise way. And over the zooming and panning, we zoom in and tag an area. We've got to make sure that the tagging is retained when we zoom and pan on the image. And so the next step of the milestones was recognizing a testing framework, and the need for testing. So this document outlined kind of the tools that are already established with VOTT for testing, and since there's already there in a sophisticated way, we wanted to piggyback and echo the testing framework there. So there were a couple main areas that we recognized in this document for testing, and the first one is to have the code coverage requirement of VOTT. So there's a 75% code coverage requirement for additions to VOTT that we want to adhere to. This image here is just showing that there's tools for recognizing which lines of code in the test files are recognized. And these are some of the tools that we can use to make sure that all the tests that we write are covering those codes. So we had a meeting with Wallace to go over the testing, and specifically on the part that renders images and the different types of assets. So we got a better understanding of what was going on there. And we were introduced to the way that the Git repository for VOTT has a number of automated tests when there's Git pulls on it. And we want to figure out a way to replicate that as well. So when we're doing, when we're developing the code next semester, we can have these tests and we're not running into issues with our additions to VOTT on our end. And so finally, the last milestone was the alpha prototype report. And this report more or less detailed our efforts to do the 3 initial components of the solutions report. So our goal of getting geotiffs, which represent the satellite, which has the satellite imagery, into VOTT were kind of difficult. We tried to use a number of node packages from NPM to get these loaded in, but as the team made us aware that this kind of problem area with dealing with TIFFs is kind of new, and there hasn't been a lot of impact in the area. So there weren't a lot of node packages for us to use in an easy way to import the geotiffs, and this is partly confounded by our novice use of React and JavaScript, and I think that would more than anything has kind of impacted our way to do geotiffs. But as a temporary solution, we were able to convert the images in Python and get them into VOTT. So the image on the left is a satellite image of some farm area that we were able to convert and get into VOTT. So we're happy we were able to do that. I know that Molly did some work recently with this right image here in Python, and I think she wanted to talk a little bit about that. Molly, you there?
Hi, yeah, I'm here. Yeah, so the image on the right is the tag that's the tag when I put it in VOTT. So that's kind of what I wanted it to look like, and I developed a program that parses a .json file, and that's how VOTT exports their tags, and the file contains, the coordinate points of the tag. So I was able to develop a Python program that can then render that tag on an image. And I think I've begun to run into some issues there with that, because I think there's something with how the images are being converted. The tag doesn't line up in the same spots on the geotiff that it does in the PNG version. So that's something I think we're going to have to kind of dig into a little bit more next semester. And then I think I also have installed GDAL incorrectly. So I have to look into that too. But yeah, as of right now, we are able to draw a tag on a geotiff. It's just not matching up to where it should be from the VOTT program.
Oh, thanks, Molly. So we're still working with temporary solutions here to kind of do almost a proof of concept for what we'd want to do for the integration into VOTT. And so we were able to present this to our class at the a week ago, and just kind of introduce them to the project, and we were pretty happy with that. I forget what my next slide is. Oops. Oh, so for the next semester, so it's a continuation of the goals of the solution document. So we need to get the geotiffs into VOTT, and the way we'll continue to work with Wallace for doing this. Wallace has been an immense help for us understanding VOTT and kind of the limitations of it and things we would need to do to get it to work. We explored doing using there's a geotiff.js library or npm package that we think that we might be able to use to render a geotiff into an HTML canvas object, which might let us be able to do this. So we'll continue to work with that, and then for once we get that to work, I think it would be really nice for us to focus on the automation of the tagging. Having taken an AI class here, it's introduced to, neural network algorithms for doing automatic tagging of images. And I think it would be really nice if we were able to create the tagging tool and then create a kind of proof of concept for its use in a way to present the tool. Then I think that would be really effective in proving that this project is a very useful thing for attacking those problems. And I think that's it for my presentation here. If anybody has any questions, appreciate it, and then feedback as well. Our professor will be reaching out to, I think, primarily Ranveer, but it should be reaching out to everyone on kind of feedback from our group and questions on how things are going. So I think he said that he'd do that Monday. So look forward to that. And once again, thanks everybody for their time and effort this semester.
Great, that's great. Thank you. Is there any other comments from any of the other team members?
Well, I think it would be great actually if next time you present, if you have actually show a demo or a video of the demo in action.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We have some code for just doing the conversions. I didn't know how entertaining it would be, so I kind of decided not to put it in there.
Right.
But
especially what Molly had, right? With just doing I mean, it's simple, but it's just showing that you can do a square box and tag it.
Okay. Yeah, definitely.
I agree with you. The conversion is not particularly interesting to see a demo.
Okay, anything else for today?
That's it from our end. But yeah, thanks again for listening.
All right, I'll go ahead and post the video, and we'll look for that communication from your professor, advisor?
Yeah.
We'll look for that coming through on Monday.
And Stacy, will you send Ranveer the recording?
Yes, I will. I'll post it, and I'll make sure to send a link out to everybody.
Great.
On how you can access that.
Thank you.
All righty. Cool. Thanks. Looking forward to next semester and continuing the project.
Yeah. Good
Great.
progress.
Have a good holiday.
Thank
too.
you. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Thank you.
Bye.